Hello everybody, Chris here from Truly Holistic. In this video, we're going to do a healing video. We haven't done this for a long time. And I've had many ideas of a new healing video, but my boss is my high aspect of my consciousness that holds a special place of knowing and understanding, which we call wisdom. And that aspect of me will always let me know when it is right to do a healing video, that we can kind of put it in this way on YouTube or Facebook or on social media for then people to, I guess, digest. So this healing video is going to be all about the blood, okay? And before we do that, we want to quickly just discuss really what the blood authentically is, you know? You know, the blood, you know, when we get ill or sick, and let's say we went to the doctor or we're in hospital, they take blood tests, right? So, and a lot of the times when is a big diagnostic tool is to take a blood test to see what's happening in the blood. And it's also referenced as our life force. So we're going to look at that, but in a much greater meaning, but keep it short because, as I say, this is a healing video, but this greater knowing and understanding of your blood is healing in itself, okay? And gives you a bit of more of an understanding of why do people have these problems with their blood? You know, why do we find the things that we do in our blood and so on, and coagulation of blood, which is the viscosity of blood, which is essentially simply the thickness of your blood. So, you know, the modern medical system science point of view of blood is, obviously it's a very important aspect where we can get a window into what's going on in the body, right? Blood tests. But essentially, you know, how it connects to the heart and the cardiovascular system is that obviously, you know, it circulates around the body, right? It's providing oxygen, providing nutrients to tissues. And it's something that I guess it connects to every aspect of your body. Right, it's kind of the glue that's connecting everything together, and it's deemed as the heart pumps the blood around the body. Now, where my perspective of that changes, because you know I'm a quantum healer, so we look at everything in a quantum way, which is looking at a deeper understanding of what blood really represents. Because you got to remember that everything that we see in our reality, including our blood, is within that window of, or keyhole of frequency, or spectrum of frequency that our eyes visually can see, what we call visible sight, which is 0.0035% of the electromagnetic spectrum of light. So less than 1% of what can be seen is what we identify as our blood, and we give it that label as such. Okay, and that can be applied to everything that we see as part of our reality, including our blood, including our body, and how we see our body, and why we call it physical. Okay, so that alone you can question a lot of things, right? So the way that my guides, my high aspects of self see that, my consciousness, is that it's actually the other way around. It's not the blood that it's not the heart that influences the blood by pumping around the body. It's actually the blood that influences the heart. Okay, and now I guess that question comes in, what is the heart in regards to this? And again, medical system would say the heart is a pump to pump the blood, right? In a simple way, of course. But the way that we see it here at Truly Holistic is the heart is a vortex. It's not a pump, okay? And it's essentially a doorway to a path that connects to you, your quantum aspects of yourself, where you are an infinite consciousness. You're an expansive, infinite consciousness. And essentially, you know, you're born here through the heart, and then when you leave, you go back out the heart, okay? That is the doorway in and out. And if you are coming from a consciousness perspective or a spiritual perspective, you could call the heart a portal, okay? Because it's the path to your multi-dimensional self. is you as an infinite consciousness. So, you know, these people in quantum physics and physics that are trying to figure out how do we bend space-time, right? Create a wormhole, portal, stargate. Now, these are all definitional terms that are thrown out there for the same thing. And, you know, sadly, science and our medical system is very mind-orientated. And the mind is really what controls and conditions human existence, right? Because the human is your conditioned self. You know, because living a life as a human, you kind of go by what you've been conditioned to think, and what you've been taught to think, and to look at ways in a certain way. And so, you know, it's a very limited perspective of things, and what I'm trying to say there. And a big deal of why that is because the mind is guiding and, more importantly, controlling your experience of reality. Okay, and because science and medicine are like that, we're not going to get the greater understanding and knowing of why things are the way they are, why we're observing it. Science is great at observing, but it lacks the understanding of what we're observing, sadly, and that's the downside of the mind and what it does. It doesn't want you to know. Okay, and there's many reasons for that, which we won't go into in greater depth in this video. But what I'm trying to say is when we go through the heart and we have our awareness here instead of up here, then it provides a more expanded view of what's going on. So therefore, we get greater understanding, knowing, and wisdom of what we're going to then observe. Okay, and so that blood, what we see as blood, is something more, something greater. And as I say, with physicists and they're looking for that wormhole. How do we create one? Well, they don't understand that we are one. We already are one. Our heart is. But the problem with the mind is always conditioned us to lack. So we feel like the answers are never within. They're out there. When really, our expansion, therefore, a greater understanding of what's going on and what we're observing, is within us. It's not out there. Okay, and this is the same with our blood and what it represents. So our blood is what we think it is through that window, which is, again, a very limited perspective of what we can see, therefore a very limited perspective of what we understand what it is. So, and if the heart is that doorway to our infinite consciousness, right, that portal that connects us to multi-dimensional, multiverse, multi-reality aspects of ourself as a consciousness, that flow of energy that comes through a pathway that's within us at a quantum level and comes through that doorway of the heart, that becomes what we deem as blood in that visible window of reality that we see. How cool is that, right? Okay, so just knowing that and have a greater understanding of that as your blood is very healing in itself. Okay? So the question is asked then, well, why do we have these problems like the cardiovascular problems? Like, for example, a lot of the cardiovascular problems is when the blood loses its ability of flow. So therefore, the viscosity of the blood, which means the thickness of the blood, is not thin anymore, it's thick, which means that it's not flowing as well through the body. That's when the body's intelligence comes into play to increase pressure, blood pressure, to then push that blood around the body because it's needed, right, for the oxygenation and so on. And when we really look at every compartmentalization of the body, it relies on flow to be well, to be in a state of vitality and wellness. And when we get things sluggish or slow or congested or obstructive, that's when we see health problems. So, you know, a key aspect of keeping your blood thin and flowing is your awareness sitting over that heart space, so that door is open, and your connection to your higher aspects of your consciousness, which are not above your head, they are within you at a quantum level, because the answers are found this way, not that way, not there, not that way. Okay, that is being part of the hoodwinking or the mind control Okay. So, the core of everything, your authenticity is found in the heart. Why? Because your soul and your consciousness exists there, which is your authenticity, not your conditioned self as the human, but your authenticity as a consciousness. Okay. So what we're going to do here now is we're going to do a clearing where we bind all of those higher aspects of your consciousness, which we call generations. Generation means reality. And we're going to bind them to your blood. Okay? We're going to assist that intention with a tool that we have here called the divinity ring. Why are we going to use the divinity ring? And this could also be the ascendance ring we have on our website. Either one. They're using the same symbology. Okay? This is an ancient symbol of the sun. Okay? Which is a cross with a circle around it, right? So that has many meanings in a number of religious practices, and especially Christianity. And you've got to understand that a lot of the symbolism on a lot of religions, and even going back before that, because at the origin of religions is consciousness before it got divided up and became part of duality, is the one thing that's always been here, and it's been the sun. Okay, we know that the symbolic meaning of the sun is soul. It's Latin word for sun is S-O-L, which is pronounced just like S-O-U-L, soul. So you're essentially looking back at your own light, okay, in regards to the sun. Now, why we use this is because it connects to your divinity, okay, and that's what's called the divinity ring, your divineness. And your divinity is all the higher aspects of you that exists on a multi-reality level, multi-dimensional level, multi-reality, multi-dimension, multiverse level. Okay, so your soul is your energy signature, which is shared amongst different realities, which means you have a variant of you existing in all these different realities, right? Which shares that same energy signature, which is a term we call quantum entanglement. That's what quantum physics uses, that term. And so when we use this tool, it enables to connect anything that you place on it, whether it's water, whether it's food, or a part of your body, or you yourself, to its divine aspects, right? That exist in a multitude of universes, realities, dimensions. So the key aspect of using this and this intention we're going to make that helps with your blood is it's going to bring all that flow, all that energy into your blood here. So your blood here becomes a representation of more of your consciousness, and consciousness doesn't know how to flow. It is flow. Okay, it's like if you went to a goldfish in a goldfish bowl and goes, what's the water like in that bowl? They'd be like, what's that? Because they've never known anything other. They just be and exist within water. It's from our perspective we can see, oh, they're in water, but they don't know that. Okay, that's what they've ever known. It's just like us talking about air. Okay. So when we bring more of your higher consciousnesses, it's going to bring more flow quality to your blood, okay? And the geometry of flow is a vortex, okay? That's why what we say about what the heart is, it's a vortex generator. It's a vortex. And what we do know about portals, wormholes, stargates, all those sorts of things, what is that? A vortex too. Okay, so it's the geometry of that. So we're going to use this tool now. I'm going to intend that for everybody watching and listening, and you're going to feel the effects of it. Here we go. Now, for everybody watching and listening to this video, this healing video, I want to bind all of their generations, which is all of their realities, okay, to their blood, please. So this includes generation 3, which is this reality we're in, but also generation 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which are all higher aspects of consciousness, please. So for everybody watching and listening, okay, we're going to bind all of their generations to their blood to enable more consciousness to be represented in the blood. So hence, more flow, please. Right, there we go. Okay. So, as I say, generations mean reality, okay? And you would have heard me saying a number of them. Now that just represents those numbers above 3, because the reality is 3 here, okay? You have a generation 4, which is a higher self, then a 5, and a 6, and a 7, and an 8, and a 9, okay? And then there's source, okay, which is the origin of that energy before it gets branched out into these different realities. Okay, and we've got an ascension map here. We know what that looks like here. Okay, and we incorporate that in the healing sessions that I have with clients all over the world, and relevance to that. So we're not just throwing intention out there. Yeah, it might be that. We know that. It's for certain for that. Now, when I connect to generations, that's not generations for all of us as a collective. No, that's not how it is. Each one of us is like a tree. And this is a good analogy to finish off with, to give you a bit of understanding. So when I say you've got a source of energy, it's not one source for all of us. Each individual has a source of energy. We call it source self. And they are like the roots of that tree. Okay? And then they go up into a trunk, which then divide into these bigger branches, which go to different realities, universes, or dimensions. Either way you want to look at that. Okay? And then the foliage, the leaves part on the end of those, is where your energy becomes in a state of expression, which means you become a being, right? You're existing and wanting to expand your creation in that reality. That's what we're supposed to be doing. That's our sole purpose, pun intended, is to expand our creation ability, not be limited as the human. That's a big downfall of what's going on at the moment with us, whether that's illness or diseases or confusion or lack of clarity of our purpose and what we're here to do, and understanding of reality and why things happen the way out, all of that. Okay, and we work on that a lot here at Truly Holistic for people, whether that's reality coaching or healing, ascended healing. So essentially each one of us is like a tree. Now there is a level of existence that goes beyond source, which we call celestial existence, which I guess is perhaps where there's a connection between us all. That's the soil, okay? And all our roots of our tree individually, all of us, are stuck into that soil. We call that celestial existence, which is also called an Eden, Eden means paradise, okay? Now a lot of people will go, but aren't we a collective here? The only collective that is here is through the mind, not through consciousness. Okay, which I've referenced and is like the internet. It's a network. Remember what they used to call the internet back in the day? The World Wide Web. It's like a web where everyone is connected and dialed into each other through the mind and the extension of the mind, which is the brain. Okay, to share thought forms around so they can conform people to place their attention and intention, which is the way that we expand our energy out, into a common attention and intention. Okay? But it's being sabotaged because the majority of people here don't understand that they're creating reality. So their energy gets put into a attention and intention that's definitely not helping ourselves. It's another intelligence that's playing with us. They use the mind as a Trojan horse to control us. Okay? And that's what is called a collective. It's more of a hive mind. It's not a collective consciousness. There is no such thing. Could there be one created in the future where we all find our way to our authenticity by going within? Yes, perhaps so. But currently, no, it's not that way. Okay? So, the more we get into the mind and our awareness shifts into the mind and the brain, and we get controlled by this deemed collective, that door closes. And that will mean that our blood will not carry a flow as it's supposed to do. And what that happens is the blood, the viscosity of blood will thicken, which increases your likelihood for problems to happen. Okay, not only in regards to the heart or the cardiovascular system, but remember, the blood is carrying oxygen and nutrients to all the other areas of the body, so it's going to affect everything. Okay, everything becomes unbalanced, okay? Everything that regulates, and that's why we see, a common illness or issue for people is high blood pressure. Thank God the intelligence of the body does that to keep things flowing. But what's the big questions that's not being asked? Why is the body having to intervene to increase blood pressure? Okay, it's because that blood is getting thick and slow and sluggish. And that's because we're not enabling the flow through here. Okay. Anyway, I hope you really enjoyed this healing video and also the information brought forth to give you a greater authentic understanding of your blood, okay, and also the heart. If you have any questions, comment below. I'd love to hear how that felt with that healing, okay? If you're interested in booking any appointments, go to trulyholistic.net/appointments/. If you'd like a product like the Divinity Ring, and we have a number of energy products that are quantum products, energy tools, again, go to trulyholistic.net/products/. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and please like this video and share this video as much as possible, because it really helps with the algorithms to get our views up, and plus get the message to more people of benefit and help for them. Till next time, bye.